Well, Halloween is almost here, so obviously we're thinking of some spooky costumes and wearing exaggerated makeup, and for kids, eating loads of candies. Halloween is a holiday celebrated each year on October 31. We know of that. But what is it, and how did it come to be? According to some sites, the word Halloween was first popularized in a poem. It is believed that the Scottish poet Robert Burns used the word Halloween with his 1785 poem of the same name. According to some scholars, it's two words combined together. Hallow, which means holy person, is referred to the saints celebrated on All Saints' Day, which is on November 1, and the "een" part of the word is derived from eve, which means evening before. It is said that the tradition first originated from the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain, which means summer's end. People would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off evil ghosts. It is believed that the Celts, who lived 2,000 years ago in the area of Ireland, the United Kingdom, and northern France, celebrated their new year on November 1. This day marked the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter, a time of year that was often associated with human death. Celts believed that on the night before the new year, that is October 31, the veil between the worlds of the living and the dead thinned. On this night, they celebrated Samhain, when it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to earth. Celts thought that the presence of otherworldly spirits made it easier for the Celtic priests, who were known as Druids, to make the predictions about the future. To celebrate this event, Druids built huge sacred bonfires where the people gathered to burn crops and animals as sacrifices to the Celtic deities. During the celebration, the Celts wore costumes, typically consisting of animal heads and skins, and attempted to tell each other's fortunes. It is said that they celebrated this time by setting dinner tables filled with food and drinks and even portion of the crops by the fire to welcome the ghosts. They believed that the souls of the dead returned home on this one night of the year and must be appeased by the offerings. The tradition, though, varied from places to places. In some parts, it is said that after the offerings and a prayer, there would be rituals and games like telling one's future, especially regarding death and marriage. In some places, special bonfires were lit and there would be rituals involving them. The flames, smoke, and ashes were believed to have protective and cleansing powers. In some places, they would lit the torches from the bonfire and carry them around homes and fields to protect them. Later, when the Roman Empire had conquered the majority of Celtic territory, they brought in their own festivals that were combined with the traditions of Celtic celebration of Samhain. Romans believed in Pomona, the goddess of fruits and trees. The symbol of Pomona is the apple, and thus explains the tradition of bobbing for apples that is practiced today on Halloween. Today, people believe that Halloween costumes are derived and influenced by Christian practices, though it is said that in earlier times many Christian groups set about destroying these traditions because it was linked to death. They thought that the Celtics and Druids were devil worshippers since they welcomed the dead. They believed that Samhain was a pagan holiday, and in attempts to destroy these, they brought in an All Saints' Day. May 13 was marked a day to honor all Christian martyrs. Later, Pope Gregory III expanded the festival to include all saints as well as all martyrs and moved it from May 13 to November 1. The Church marked November 2 as an All Souls' Day, a day to honor the dead. Hence the entrance of Christianity, which eventually spread into Celtic lands where it blended with their traditions. All Souls' Day was celebrated similarly to Samhain, with big bonfires and people dressing up in costumes as saints, angels, and devils. The All Saints' Day celebration was also called as All Hallows or All Hallowmas, which led to Halloween. So in earlier days, Halloween was actually known as Samhain, a Celtic festival. But how did Halloween come to America? The celebration of Halloween was strictly limited within the New England premises. In the mid-1800s, Irish and Scottish immigrants began to move to the United States, bringing their Halloween traditions with them. It is also said that American colonists were first responsible for bringing in the Halloween tradition to the United States. For a long time, it was confined within the immigrants, but it gradually spread among the American society, and by the beginning of 20th century, it was widely celebrated by people of all race and religious background, and still continues to this day. So why pumpkin as jack-o'-lantern? To put it in simple words, because it's easy. Jack-o'-lantern was again the part of Samhain tradition. The practice originated from an Irish folklore about a man named Stingy Jack. Stingy Jack was believed to be a drunk thief who loved playing tricks on everyone. He also tricked the devil into banning him from hell. So when Jack died, he couldn't enter heaven because of his sinful life, and because of the banning, he couldn't enter hell either. Hence, he was forced to roam the earth for eternity into cold and dark lands. He roamed the world carrying a small lantern made of a turnip with a hot ember from hell to light his way. The Irish refer to this ghostly figure as Jack of Lantern, and hence jack-o'-lantern was derived. Immigrants from these countries brought the jack-o'-lantern tradition with them when they moved to the United States. They found that pumpkins, a fruit native to America, were readily available and made perfect jack-o'-lanterns than turnips. Hence, pumpkin entering into the Halloween picture and still in the ruling. And as for trick or treating, it goes without saying back to the Celts, who at the time dressed up on some animal costumes, would go to homes with children, often begging for food, and in return they would pray for their dead relatives. They were often given soul cakes. This was called souling, and the children were known as soulers. In some places, they would sing songs, perform skits, recite poems in return for fruits, nuts, or even some money. Again, when Irish and Scottish immigrants moved to US, they revived this old tradition of souling in the US, especially in the parts of Northern America and Canada. The term trick or treat first appeared in print in 1927 in Canada. It basically meant that if a treat, like candy, is given, then the child will not perform a trick, that is mischief, on the owner of the house. It is said that Britons actually hated this ritual and would often turn off their lights, indicating that they are not home. Over the years, Halloween has taken into many variations all over the world. As you can tell, it has definitely lost its original meaning of praying for the dead and has little to no religious background. However, its original association with the dead and something evil still remains.